Okay, so I'm here. I'm going to do a quick review on a couple of smartwatches. I would say inexpensive Chinese smartwatches. Um, they are praised for their durability, which I can attest to that. I think they're very durable. They do have some fairly good features, comparable to the real expensive Samsungs or Garmin's, but you get what you pay for. So I first bought this T-Rex, and I bought it because I was looking for a GPS smartwatch. This T-Rex, they advertised it as having GPS function, but not really. You can link it to a phone app, and then it'll give you turn by turn. It'll show you the turn by turn, mapping. It won't show you a map, but it'll give you turn by turn instructions, on here. Kind of like what you get audibly from your smartphone. So I was disappointed. I'm not disappointed in the watch, however, for its durability. And the watch faces, there's quite a few watch faces. There's always new watch faces. There's a lot of watch faces that are animated. So you can, let's see here if I can go to settings. There's animated watch faces that I really like. So, on the phone itself, like on this particular phone, I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33. I have 33 watch faces loaded in this watch that you can choose from. Like I said, you can play animation watch faces, which of course use more battery life. This particular watch face right here has kind of a weather background that changes according to the weather. There's another one like that, which I like. I think I use it more. This one will do that a little bit right there. And let's see, there's one more. This one. That's one of my favorite watch faces, but they do have animated watch faces like this one. You can see the little spaceman rotating. It's kind of cool. So it's really nice. I've been wearing this watch for over a year. And, if you look at it, I mean, you see more wear on the rubber wristband than you do on the watch. So there's like no scratches on around the bezel. I mean, it's just really tough, and I wear this at work. I beat it up, and and it has a lot of information. All these watch faces are configured, and you just kind of choose the one, that gives you the most information that you like to see. I've been wearing this one recently, you know, calories burned, steps, heart, what's the distance you've walked, the date, the time, of course, AM, PM, humidity, the temperature high and temperature low, and the temperature outside, and the battery life, 99%. So, you know, I've been enjoying this watch face. I usually do the weather one, which I like a lot. But I want to tell you the best feature about this watch is battery life. So if you're not running like the little spaceman animated background, even with that, the battery life is pretty good. But this watch will pretty much easily go for 2 weeks, you know, 14 days, maybe longer. Could even be 3 weeks without charging the battery. You know, and I usually charge it when I see it around, you know, 20% or something, but I think it'll go, you know, at least 3 weeks, easy. You know, sometimes I just forget to even look at the battery life. So I've been really happy with this watch. The feature that I bought it for was to have a GPS, you know, not that I could, you know, put in information and then it would tell me how to get to it or anything. But what I wanted to do was load track files and then follow that track file. Because when I'm on my motorcycle, you know, a lot of times I either have to pull out my phone, or if you got your phone mounted on the handlebars, you know, it's jiggling all around. I've had one phone that it broke the camera inside the phone because the phone was always vibrating. So I was hoping this would have a GPS, like you could load the tracks and then follow it just by looking at it. However, the other feature I wish it had was that it could be like a Bluetooth headset from my phone, you know, so you could make and receive calls. The one feature that you can do, it receives messages, and you can respond to those messages with a simple okay or something, or an emoji, which is kind of cool. You can't type out a message, but you can respond to a message. So that's the T-Rex. Amazfit is what I believe this watch is called. Amazfit. There it is right there on the side. Amazfit T-Rex. And I like it quite a bit. All right, now on to this watch, which is the Carbinox. So the Carbinox is, you know, it feels heavier than this one. This watch, the T-Rex, is very comfortable to wear. This one is noticeably heavier, and even when you're wearing it on your wrist. There's a lot of videos on this Carbinox that tells you how durable it is, and I believe it is a durable watch. My son-in-law bought this watch, and then he didn't want it because I think, you know, it has a limited number of watch faces. I think there's only 3 watch faces or 4 watch faces loaded in the watch. That's all you can load in there, and then the other ones you have to add from the app. I think it has less information on the screens than this watch, even though you can look at all that type of information, you know, like up here on the screen you have steps. I think that's distance, your battery life, your heart rate, and I'm not sure what that one is. I have to look it up. But you have the date, the day, the time, AM, PM. That shows you're linked. However, you know, the watch faces are kind of generic. I liked this one, but most of the watch faces are kind of plain Jane. It does give you messages so you can read them, but you cannot respond to them. You can just delete them. So no response to messages. Watch faces. Let's see if I can show you the reason why I bought this watch from my son-in-law was because you could make calls and receive calls. This one has quite a few settings. I'm not really going to go into it, you know, but you can look at sleep data and that kind of stuff. It has all the type of data that, you know, both watches have similar data. You know, the weather is good. It's got good information. You can play your music, messages, you know, like I said, you can read them, but you can't respond. Alarm clock, voice assist. If we go into settings, you look at the watch faces. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's it. So you can have 5 watch faces inside the watch. This is the default watch face, which isn't bad, but they do not give you any animated watch faces. And I was kind of wondering why they don't. You know, this one has a second hand, I guess, as far as animation goes. The watch faces aren't horrible, but I really like the watch faces that are available on the T-Rex. So I am going to probably return this watch. I haven't kept it that long. I only wore it for like 4 days. And the battery life on this watch is not that good. I think they say you got 7 days battery life. I would tell you that 7 days battery life is only if you're doing nothing on the watch. Absolutely nothing. Especially not talking on it. You know, phone calls. Do not do any phone calls. So let's get back to I like this watch face. The watch faces aren't bad. I mean, you know, you can buy watches and they just come with the face they have and that's the watch. So it is kind of cool that you can change watch faces. And this watch is comfortable, but noticeably heavier than the T-Rex. This one you don't really notice on your wrist. Comparatively, this one feels top heavy. But, you know, it feels expensive too. So, you know, in comparison, this one feels more expensive. But anyway, battery life. You can see just why we've been talking in this review is dropped 1%. You know, and my T-Rex is still 99%. Now, my T-Rex got charged this morning, I think, to 100%. And it's now 5:17 in the evening, and it's dropped 1%. The Carbinox was charged yesterday morning, and it's at 79%. This watch loses about 10% per day if you're not doing anything on it. I did have an issue with this, you know, the first day I wore it. So I did answer a phone call on it, which was really cool. I talked to the person for a while from the watch because I was doing some work around, and I didn't want to hold the handset to my ear, and my Bluetooth headset was connected to my work phone, so I was just talking with this on my wrist, and they gave me good audio report. But what I noticed later was when I started the phone call, it was at 89%. The next day, it still looked good. Looks like I got good battery left. That's pretty good. And I kind of ignored it went until the next day. So the third day about midway through the day, I looked at the battery life and noticed, hey, that doesn't look like it moved at all from when I answered that phone call. And so I thought that was weird, so I opened up the phone app for the Carbinox, and it said the same thing. I go, that just doesn't seem right. So I went to the reboot settings on the watch and rebooted the watch. Well, after I rebooted it, it came up to 8%. So the watch wasn't locked up, everything moved on it, but the battery indication was froze, and it wasn't reading correctly until I rebooted the watch. Well, at 8%, it didn't make it through the rest of my day. It died before, I was done working that day. So that was only, less than a full 3 days that the battery lasted on that, but that was with a pretty good phone call. So anyway, battery comparison, there is no comparison. You cannot respond to text messages on the Carbinox, but you can answer and make phone calls. On the T-Rex, you can respond to text messages, but there's no phone call support. It will tell you a call's coming in. You can click on answer, but all it does is answer it on your smartphone. You got to talk through your smartphone, not your watch. So anyway, that's something to consider. I will be returning the Carbinox. I think it's a tough watch and probably good for most people, but easily the battery life on the T-Rex destroys the Carbinox. That's all I've got to say. You make the decision. Right now I've got 32 watch faces loaded in this watch, and more on my phone. So I think it would hold more than 32 on the watch, but all I know is I got 32 on there right now, and that's quite a few good choices. I've got some favorites that I can change to. This one's been my favorite for the last week, so change your watch face to your mood. Alrighty, guys. Have a good one.